Hello, this is my Black British woman's voice. I just want to touch on the myth, which is William Wilberforce. William Wilberforce is this lovely gentleman born 100-something years ago, 1830-something anyway, the 18th century, who was a politician and a devout abolitionist. When I was a child, I heard his name in passing, and I understood that he did contribute in a small sense something towards the conversation towards the abolition of slavery. However, he was not responsible for the ending of slavery, or the abolition of it rather. However, 30 or so years have gone by, and I spoke to a white girl at work, and she said to me, I heard that William Wilberforce had a cousin, and that cousin wrote Amazing Grace. Now, I just wanted to touch on this because it blew my mind. I'm fortunate enough to live within the timeline of a myth blowing out of proportion. When this man died, yes, he was vocal against slavery. However, it was some years after he died before they even touched on the idea of the abolition of the trade of slavery. And it was a longer time after that before the abolition of slavery came about. And when I talk about the difference being this: many years after his death, bills were passed through Parliament where you were no longer able to go to and from Ghana picking up slaves and selling them. However, you could still trade human beings as slaves. You could still trade black people as slaves. So it was sometime after that then the abolition of slavery came about. However, the way that bleeding heart white people talk about it, they talk about it as if this man woke up, put on his anti-slavery cape, and went into the house of all the slavers in America and England and single-handedly rescue him. The way they talk about it is as if with his last dying breath, the Prime Minister walked into his deathbed and said to him, Wilberforce, you know all those times you were against slavery? Well, we agree. Here, we've abolished it. That's not the case. And this person has grown from a man into a myth. And I'm grateful that it's within my lifetime, just so that I'll be able to tell young people and children, no, he was not related to the person that wrote Amazing Grace. No, he did not abolish slavery. He was just a very nice English man who was anti-slavery. That is it. And what I want to do also is to encourage black people who are watching this video to not focus on these random, isolated, great white hope fictional saviors which are cropping up in history books. I want you to focus on Jamaican history. If you want to look at what people were doing to abolish slavery, look to all the black people who were doing it. Familiarize yourself, for instance, with the Jamaican slave Sam Sharp. Sam Sharp led a huge rebellion, managed to slit a lot of slavers' throats, got caught and was hung. And where he was hung, they named the site where he was hung, and they called it Sam Sharp Square. If you want to know about people who contributed to the complete abolition of slavery, familiarize yourself with men such as him. Please do not waste your time on Wilberforce, because I have a bad feeling that in 100 years' time they're gonna re-edit Bibles and claim that Wilberforce was related to Jesus. He wasn't. He's a nice person. I'm not saying I wouldn't sit down and share some Earl Grey and a scone with this dude. What I'm saying is, do not believe in this myth. This overblown, last grasping attempt by white people to convince themselves that this great evil wasn't something that they perpetuated. This overblown myth that white people are using to assuage their guilt. Anyway, that's one Black British woman's voice. I'm out.